I'm gonna mute.
Yep. All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a great month. Here we are, ready to start a new month in March. So hopefully everyone had a decent month last month. I know it was very exciting with the markets the way they've been, and I could see the gappers list already, and I know this excitement is gonna continue. At least the movement with all this Corona news and everything else going on is creating a lot of activity for us, which is great on our part. Not fun that the news isn't as negative as it is and affecting actual lives, but good for us in the sense that we can take advantage of whether the market is up or down. We're able to take advantage either way. So, all right, guys, let's. We're not gonna. This was our watch list the other day. I'm gonna just remove all of this stuff that's on here, and let's look at our gappers list today. But again, not too bad actually. We've seen worse, obviously. What we had last week, up to 40 in some case. We actually had to cut down on some of the 3% and 2% just to be able to get the bulk of the stuff that's gapping even higher. So not too bad this morning. But before we get into that, Norm, good morning, and give us a little bit on what's going on with the SPY.
Good morning, Carlos. It has been a wild ride since futures opened last night. From being down massive to being up huge to being flat to now we're down on the S&P 1.2%. If you would go back, we won't. Carlos,
Yeah, I
you just
think
lost your screen
I
share,
lost the
man.
screen here. I'm gonna bring it back. Just one sec. Yep.
They when you get back up there, if you would pull up the SPY and take a look at the last 15 minutes or so of the market on Friday. Are you up?
It's gonna be up right now. Let me see. I'm trying
Oh,
this new Firefox thing, so hopefully this will.
yeah, we're trying to fix some of these pixelation issues caused by the latest Google update. So bear with us. Obviously, that we have the new website up, so we'll discuss that in a little bit with announcements. But
All right, here we go. Back up.
all right. Um, so if you go to the SPY and take a look at it on a 5 minute chart toward the end of the day on Friday, it was just an insane move. It was the S&P 500 index went up 100 points like in the last 15 minutes of the market on extremely heavy volume, which was quite interesting. A lot of people were talking about it, different ideas on why and how that happened. But if can you pull that up, Carlos?
Which one? 5 minute?
The 5 minute SPY, the last half of the day on Friday.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That massive ramp there, literally 100 points on the S&P 500 index. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. So anyway, obviously last week was extremely volatile, and we're in for more of that today. I would not be surprised with some chop this morning, especially as crazy as futures have been overnight. So once again, I'll be trading carefully today, treading lightly. I had a few big days. I know a lot of people had big days last week. One of our traders in the room who I'm friends with had his biggest day I've heard of anybody having in the room. So congratulations. He knows who it is. A lot of his people, his friends know who it is. So congrats. I
Mm-hmm.
won't
Mm-hmm.
throw out your name there. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this morning we've got PMI out, and manufacturing index manufacturing PMI is at 945, and then the manufacturing index and construction spinning at 10 a.m. One of the things that's thrown this market kind of crazy overnight is that China manufacturing data came out and was way lighter than expected over the weekend. So, I mean, we've never seen readings that low. On top of that, China's known for not having the most um, honest numbers that they release. So usually they fudge them to the good side to some extent. If these are fudged to the good side, then it's really bad over there. So anyway, that's what's going on.
All right, gotcha, man. Thanks for that update. So let's take a look, guys. Let's get into this gappers list. Let's start over. We should be able to get through all of these, and we'll filter out some of the stuff that we know has been here for a while. CODX, BLDP. These are stocks that have been moving quite a bit. CODX is a low flow, as we know. So we'll take a look at how that's doing today, up 30% again. So we'll go through these, and we should be able to knock these out pretty fast here. So FTSV this morning. So we'll take a look at that. This is borderline low flow, sitting at 20.6 million shares this morning. As you can see here, this one is up 61%.
This one's
What's going
getting
on?
bought out by Gilead. Yeah,
Okay.
Gilead's buying them out. So we can just
Yep.
um,
We can skip this,
skip over
guys,
that.
and you can see here. This is what typically what a buyout looks like. You have this nice pop here, and then the rest is just pretty much flat. So nothing going on there that we would like to see this morning. Let's look at TRIL. TRIL this morning has a great pre-market activity. Now this is a low flow stock, 14.6, but this is a great pre-market activity. This is exactly what you want to see. Some good volume, up 48%, and this is trading nicely, kind of trying to get a little nice uptrend going here. Now, for me, again, you guys know we don't really focus on low flow stocks. This one, what I do like about this low flow stock here is that it has popped up several times and it has held the pops, right? So it popped up here, it held it almost the entire day, did not come back down and sell down. Was able to consolidate another big pops here, consolidate again and again. A big day on Friday, another big day today. So the news on whatever is going on here could be potential enough to hold this pop and be able to give you some opportunities, some momentum plays. But again, it's not really our niche. But looking at this low flow stock in the last couple of days, this has been trading very, very well. It's a therapeutic company. So obviously they have some good news. We're not going to get into all the details on this one, but again, this is a low flow stock that's look at the technicals, looks very active. Let's look at
I'm going to
KP.
throw out
Yep.
one thing on this real quick. So last week when this thing was trading like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
they released a statement saying they're unaware of any information that would cause the company to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I've seen that in the past, it is a huge warning sign. That's what I've seen that happen on stocks, and then they get put on a T12 halt, which literally can last months. It usually
Yeah.
there's some kind of funny business going on.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole for myself.
Yeah. I remember what was the stock that did that? I think it was Hunt. If you guys remember, we were in the
Yeah, it was
chat
Hunt.
room,
Hunt was
right?
one of
And
them.
let's take a look at this here. We got a couple of minutes. If we look at Hunt, I think this thing is still.
You can't even. It doesn't. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah, yeah. It's been halted. It
And
was on halt forever.
and
Yeah,
this is
yeah. I was talking about
2019, guys.
TRL.
Yeah, this is 2019 here, guys. So this thing again went from 35 to 95 for no reason whatsoever, and this is what could happen. So again, just cautious there. All right, let's go back over here to So with that said, guys, even though this one's moving well, just be very, very careful. It's a great pre-market activity, but when something's moving like this with no real catalyst behind it, and the company's coming out and saying, "Hey, we don't know why this is happening," that's concerning, Norm. Thank you for sharing that. KPTI, another one on our list here. This is a 57 million shares flow. So again, a little bit on the higher side, not a low flow stock. It is up 44% this morning with a 638,000 shares traded. So that's quite a bit. Got some great volume. Has an okay daily chart. Not the best. We've seen better with some good, some nice flow, especially trending nicely with the way the SPY has been over the last couple of months. But this one here has a nice little pop. Two good days of the last week. Ended the week very well. Bouncing off these areas of highs and lows from 14 and 15. And now we're gapping up quite a bit. Norm, what's the news on this one? This seems to be having some good action this morning.
Yeah, they actually had a study out, a drug that performed well on multiple myeloma, so a cancer therapy, and it met its goals. So it was a phase 3 trial.
All right, excellent. So definitely worth watching, guys. I like the fact that we broke through a lot of areas of resistance that we had here on this chart in the most recent time. So this is looking good for today as well. Let's look at BIMI this morning. This one is a 4.7. It's very low flow stock. So we're gonna bring this down here to next to TRIL, BIMI. Throw that on here, and let's remove it from up here from our main list at the
Guys,
top.
I want to mention something because
Mm-hmm.
there's been a lot of talk in the room the last few days about and somebody Gary just asked about why we discuss low floats when we don't really trade them.
Yep.
There are some traders in the room that do trade low floats a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's by anybody that knows this room knows we don't focus on low float stocks, but we hit these just because some people do briefly discuss them. The
Right.
other thing in the last week, I mean. There's a ton of biotechs out there that are low floats. And I mean, our list, it's unavoidable with what's gone on in the news and the headlines driving this market right now, that our list doesn't have a ton of low floats on it. So it's just kind of what's going on. It's just kind of the current state of the market and what's popping up in the list.
Yep, absolutely. And in some cases, guys, again, I don't focus on low flows, but I have traded low flows before in the past when everything looks just right and there's our main list doesn't look as great, right? We a lot of us took advantage of BPTH when it was running, right? We took a very small share and we were able to make some good return on that. So there are some possibilities. We don't want to completely avoid them, like Norm mentioned. Let's look at CODX this morning. Actually, CODX will go down here as well as another low flow as well. This one is one that it's very low. Actually, this is 15.8. So again, you want to be cautious. And let's see what it's done over the last couple of days. Has popped up pretty nice with a lot of great volume today. Again, they have 1.8 million shares traded so far. Pre-market activity is kind of giving some back here. Shows that we have shares for short, but again, you want to be very careful shorting these type of stocks, or even going long. You just want to be very cautious and really manage your size here. So again, good pre-market activity, guys. This thing has been very wild. Out of all the low flow stocks, this is probably one of the most dangerous ones. You want to be very, very careful in trading this one today. BIMI, we actually took a swing trade. Me and Brian called it out. His alerts took a swing trade breaking out of $4 over here up to 475. So again, a beautiful call out by Brian on the swing trade. If you're not signed up to that, go to our website, which by the way, we'll talk about our beautiful website that we have up now. Came live over the weekend, and we'll get into that. If you go over to the swing trading tab, you can scroll to the bottom and sign up to swing trading alerts. And this was one of the trades that we did break out of the level $4 level here. Stop loss like around 325 or so, and it just took off nicely. So today it looks very active, guys. Got 503,000 shares traded right now, 35%. And again, this looks clean on the daily. This is why Brian was able to catch his swing trade here. It looks like it wants to probably pop out above 6 and try to test some of these highs. So we'll keep an eye on this one. It is a low flow stock, 4.7. So you want to be mindful of your size. Another one that's been on our list quite a bit is BLDP. And Norm, is there any news on this at all, or is just constantly gapping up and down in our gappers list here? I know this is not a low flow stock.
They've got earnings. Yeah, they've got earnings on Wednesday after the close. But once again, this thing's been moving like crazy on minimal, if any, news. I've seen nothing new out of it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we are going to avoid this one again. It just doesn't look great either. Pre-market right now, not all that exciting. It is up 8.7. Even the daily doesn't look great neither on it this morning. All right, one that we have looked at quite a bit and it's been very active. Space SPCE. This morning it is up 7.3, 425,000 shares traded. Now the great thing about this one is that we have seen some really good pop-ups. It's a stock you want to be very careful with. Had a great day on Friday. Nice, had gap down and kind of recovered nicely back to this area that I like here, 24. This is a great level to have on this stock. Obviously we're above that now. It's where we have some prior resistance, so here we can get a good pop-up going. So the daily looks good. Pre-market activity not as great, but this stock tends to have this horrible pre-market activity with some volume. Not the first time we've seen this. Norm, anything significant happening with SPCE this morning?
Not seeing anything specific, no.
Okay. All right, so we'll keep it on here, guys. So again, this has been very active. Great stock for possible momentum plays. TWTR, so Twitter is on here as well. Let's see what Twitter's got going on. Not the greatest pre-market activity. I do like the volume Twitter. I do like the pop up 7.6 this morning, 6.9 right now. 543,000 shares traded. Pre-market's not looking all that great. We got one candle here with a lot of volume, but overall, we know if Twitter can get going, it can trade very nice if it has a catalyst behind it. So is anything behind Twitter this morning, Norm?
Yes, there is. Investor in a large hedge fund has taken a significant role in Twitter. They've taken over a number of board seats. This person also, I'm not getting into politics here, I'm just reporting the news. This person is a conservative Republican and is potentially looking out to push out Jack, who founded the company. And they think that a new leader, it's not necessary. His goal is partially because of his political leanings and to make it a more even playing field in his eyes. But on the investment community, they're seeing that as a potential positive for the company financially to increase its profitability by having a new CEO.
Gotcha. All right, so again, that news is going to cause some ruckus this morning. Obviously, we have a nice little pop here. Definitely worth putting on our list here for on Twitter this morning. Well, let's head down over to APT. So APT is another one that has been, again, very active on the lower side of a float here. So only 11.3. So we'll bring it down here to CODX. So far, we have a pretty much a lot of low flows moving this morning. So we'll look closely into that. Pick about the best two that we like that we can take a look at. So APT is on here, guys. At the moment, again, pre-market activity is very active. 706,000 shares traded. Had a big gap up on Friday and gave it all back. So this is a nice big drop here, as you can see on APT. Let's look at JD this morning. JD's got a nice little pop here, up 5.9, 934,000 shares traded, and the pre-market activity is actually looking pretty good. JD does not put in a great pre-market activity, guys, so this right now, ever since even 5 o'clock this morning, has been moving significantly well. We're getting more volume now, as you can see here, so hopefully that can create a better pre-market activity as we get going this morning. Norm, this is quite a bit of volume for JD. They usually do not have this type of volume pre-market, so this is a lot for them. What's the news today?
Yeah, they reported earnings this morning. They beat top and bottom lines, and their year-over-year growth was astronomical. So,
Oh, nice. That's what I'd like to hear. So
yeah.
JD is definitely one that I will be watching this morning. That is great news. Nice little pop here, sitting right at a level of resistance. So hopefully we can break the price action right over that. I mean, we did pop over that already in the pre-market, but the price action right back to that level. So that'll be an important level we'll mark down when we get to that area. Let's look at Zoom next. Zoom is another one that we have been looking at almost every day last week. Zoom was very active. Great pop on Friday. Gave it all back, coming back to this 105 level here. Now we're gapping up a bit, about 4.5%. 132,000 shares traded right now. Pre-market activity is building nicely. Actually, this is a great pre-market activity for Zoom. Zoom doesn't have the best pre-market activity, but this is a good one this morning with some decent volume. Norm, any additional news for Zoom besides everything that's going on with the coronavirus and them adding new clients to their membership?
Every day companies are restricting travel of their employees more and more, and you keep hearing of new companies coming out either completely limiting travel or limiting all but essential travel. So that's what's going on. Plus, Zoom reports earnings Wednesday after the close, so that might come into play here in the next few days too.
All right, excellent. So we'll definitely keep an eye on Zoom, guys. I think this is one to keep an eye on. Let's look at NNVC. So NNVC is another low flow that also has been very, very active over the last couple of days, even before last week, right? Last week we have a lot of low flows, CODX, BMI, and APT. All these low flows have been very, very active, but NNVC started being active way before these guys started to get going. So this morning, not the greatest pre-market activity, a little bit choppy. The daily chart also does not look great compared to some other low flows that we have on here, like BMI. This has a better daily chart. NNVC is kind of all over the place, gapping up and down here. So this morning, not really a fan of it. We'll keep it on here. We'll pick the best two out of all these low flows. It is active, 135, up 3.7. But again, probably not the best one to watch this morning. Let's look over at Tesla. See what Tesla is up to today. So again, Tesla is had a nice big drop here, obviously due to the SPY. Almost got up to the all-time high here, around 970 or so. But again, with the coronavirus and the SPY been dropping the way it has been last week, obviously this changed that direction of it. We are up 3.4 this morning, 801,000 shares traded so far. So great volume on Tesla, and the pre-market activity, guys, is looking pretty nice. Look at the bounce off this moving average. Obviously, these are just what we call blank prints or print transactions that are being happening. But this is an actual bounce of the price action coming down and bouncing off this support here. So again, looking good right now. I definitely like the way the daily is. We're hitting this support area that we had from a couple of days ago on Tesla. Norm, any news that we should be considering?
It's just mainly moving on technicals, I believe. There's also a little bit of news that in that secondary offering that they had not too long ago before this virus pullback happened, that Larry Ellison and Elon Musk were both buying shares of Tesla. So,
Gotcha. So we'll keep. I'm gonna put Tesla on here, guys. It looks very active this morning. It's got great volume, up 3.7. So again, definitely worth watching. Also, the pre-market looks very, very good on Tesla this morning. AMD. So let's hop over here to AMD. AMD's got great volume. Also, no, that's Tesla. Hold on. I'm going to say also 800. That's a lot. So AMD on here, 1.6. So AMD has amazing volume, guys. Great pre-market activity. Nice little pop here. Had a nice bounce back, somewhat of a bounce back day yesterday, right? It was gapped down quite a bit and recovered nicely. And today we're gapping up some. So again, I think AMD. Any specific news on AMD, or it's just market, the way the market's been trading lately?
Everything I'm seeing is just on this, no specific news, just bouncing with the market.
Okay, gotcha. So we'll keep an eye on AMD, guys. I think AMD could be one of those stocks, as we usually mention. If the market is moving in one way, AMD could be a good one to watch and trade. The liquidity is great on it. You're going to get the volume. Obviously, you got 1.6 million shares traded right now. We are up 3.3. This is worth keeping an eye on. Let's get over down to, we looked at APT, Billy. Billy's a stock that we have traded quite a bit in the past, but not much going on right now. It is up 2.4. It does have the volume 110 above 100,000. But look at this pre-market; it's just not great at all, guys. There's nothing good going on there. Let's look at gold. Gold this morning. We usually do not trade this stock, but this is one that has been active. Obviously, the market's been dropping, so everybody's putting their money into gold. Gold is rising up here, very nice. Obviously, nice big drop on next couple of days, but again, gold has been popping very nice. Today, not much going on with it. Again, it's not a stock that I usually trade. Nuggets, another one that Brian watches quite a bit. Uh,
Well, Nuggets, just for reference,
yeah,
Nuggets an ETF
right, right.
that's a gold trading. This is an actual company that mines gold, and they're based in the Channel Islands. So it's foreign, it's a
Mm-hmm.
metal. If I was going to trade something gold related, I would be trading an ETF, not the specific company,
Right.
especially since it's foreign.
Yeah, and they don't move a lot neither, right? They're very choppy, very difficult to read the price section. All right, guys. So let's head down over to mRNA. This is another one that has been on our list quite a bit. So mRNA again, not a clean daily chart here. We got some pre-market activity happening, 358,000 at the moment. This is another one kind of similar to SPCE, where is a great momentum stock to play, right? You got to play this. You got to be very fast in and out. It can move quite a bit on you, so you got to be very cautious. So mRNA, guys, want to have on the list this morning. We'll take a look at it. I personally, it's a little more difficult to trade, so try to stay away from it, or at least you got to take very low number of shares here because this thing can really, really move. Let's go down to the red now. So that's all the green this morning. Again, it's a lot on here. We'll fine tune that as we get closer to our levels. We'll make that list a little bit shorter. Let's look at HSBC this morning. HSBC. Here we go. This is a banking stock, guys. Usually does not trade very well, so I'm going to avoid it. Right now, you can tell here, just pulling it up for you guys to see. The pre-market is
Also,
horrible.
it's
Yep.
also it's also foreign with a terrible daily chart.
Yeah, yeah. The more I scroll to the left here, the worse it gets. Look at the gaps up and down. So again, you can tell here it just doesn't trade very well. So I avoid trading these type of stocks. Let's head down over to AHPI. This one, AHPI, again, another one that went crazy on Friday, guys. Big pop, gave it all back. It is also low flow, I believe. Yeah, 2.2. So we'll throw
Yeah.
it on here. We're looking a little bit closer into the low flows. We'll pick the best one out of it. We'll just throw it on there for now. This is Budweiser coming up next. This one here, guys, is again they're
It's a foreign stock.
yeah, foreign stock, probably
It's
one of the
terrible.
largest brewing companies in the world, I believe. But again, it's trades terrible, so I'm not gonna be watching. STM is the same, I believe. It's also foreign. Look at tell you
It's
about the daily
foreign.
chart, horrible. So does not trade very well. It looks like everything on the red. It's not looking too good this morning. CCL is still down 5.4. This could be a good possible, guys. This is down, even though some of the stuff is a lot of the other stuff are bouncing back, like AMD, Tesla. These stocks are bouncing back. This one is still down, so worth watching. Down 5.2, 429,000 shares traded. On CCL, Norm, any other news that we should be concerned with this morning?
There was a passenger that died on that happened to be on the Princess Cruise Line or whatever that was quarantined in Japan. But other than that, it's the same thing. Nobody wants to be trapped in a steel tube of disease with 3,000 of their closest friends right now.
Absolutely not.
And and like Daniel, he just pointed out, not only are they trapped in there with the virus, but the demographic that tends to cruise the most is the elderly demographic,
Mhm.
and they're the ones way more hardly hit by the virus than anybody else.
Yeah, yep.
And
Agree.
and Peter brings up a good point. There was a Japanese cruise line that also declared bankruptcy because it's getting hit so hard. So it's all these things together.
Right, right, yeah, because CCL is a huge company. I imagine some of these smaller companies, yeah, they're gonna get killed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think this is definitely worth watching, guys. Again, we got a lot of activity here. It looks like it's trying to get going, trying to bounce back towards this previous day close. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Next, we have CUK. So CUK this morning. This one, oh, it's the
CCL
same.
and
Yeah,
Cuck are the same things.
yeah.
They're both Carnival Cruise. They're just
Mm-hmm.
two different two different share classes. So whenever this is the case, they'll generally trade the same. I always take the one with heavier volume and more liquidity. So I
Yeah.
drop the Cuck off the list.
Yep, absolutely. We'll watch CCL. It's better, has more volume, trades a lot cleaner. NVAX. So let's put this one up this morning. This one also has been on our list quite a bit. This is also on the lower side. It says 20.6, but it does trade like a low flow, so you want to be extra cautious. Again, we have a lot of low flows today here, guys. So we're just gonna fly through this and pick the best ones with the best pre-market activity, best price action. We'll go into those. Now I'm looking at our Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainers. A lot of the stuff that we have here is already on here, especially on the low flow stuffs, right? So BIOC, we'll run through this penny stock, RTTR, also penny stock, Nasdaq indicators here, CORV penny, TTNP I believe is a penny as well. Nasdaq indicator, TNXP is also not great, more of a penny stock. CODX we have, this one is very active this morning, now hitting 2 million shares traded so far. So that's worth watching on the low flow side. AMD on this list continues to trade very nice. Got a beautiful pre-market activity happening now with amazing volume 1.7. So definitely be on my list. Some of the ones that are on here already on our list. FTSV we looked at earlier. This is a buyout. TRIL we have. KPTI we have, I believe, or at least looked at. KPTI, yes, we have that one on here. What's this?
Yeah, we did.
Is it low float? It is not 57. Yeah, this is looking pretty good here. KPTI. APDN, no good this morning. Again, it's just not a great pre-market action right now. It's got some volume, up 48%. But again, not the best right now. And we have so many other ones on here as well. So I don't think we need to add any more. NCNA, no good. TELL, no good. BIMI, we have already down here. This one's looking very good this morning. Very active. CODX, we have Surf. Surf is not doing much, no volume. TNXP we looked at already. So again, quite a the stuff we have already on here. It has already hit our trade ideas gap, or so we'll go through this over here. All right, folks. Norm, what do you like this morning that we have not covered? And we'll talk. We'll get over to both chats as well.
So with the SPY gaining strength and actually getting back to the break even and going green for a second here, I am going to be keeping my eye on stocks that have been extremely strong in the last several months that have sold off hard. That
Mm-hmm.
might be the first places people look for an opportunity to buy this dip if it's going to get bought.
Yeah.
So of that, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Apple and Microsoft specifically. Nvidia, but Nvidia's kind of already had a big bounce back. Its day on Friday was a 30-point move up. So I'm going to kind of, we'll see about that one. But
Yeah.
Microsoft, Apple, and Roku kind of bottomed out once again right around that 100 number that we discussed last week on the show. That was its
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that where it bounced from for its big move last year. So I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Apple as well. Yeah, I agree, man. All these stocks that again really just been doing so well. It just came down because the way the SPY's been trading. The SPY starts heading south. There's no reason for these companies technically to be down here, right? Like even CCL somewhat trying to put in a balance, having a tougher time than anybody else. They're still down this morning. If you look at this list here, most of it is green. Everybody's up except CCL, right? So they're taking the bulk of the hit. Because even if the market recovers a little bit, I'm sure people are still going to avoid getting on a cruise ship anytime soon. So we'll keep an eye on those. Those are great ones to watch. What do you guys are watching this morning that maybe we don't have on this list yet? What do you guys have? Let's look at some of the stuff here. Disney, DIS.
Saying, yeah, it is.
This is going to be very similar to like what Norm mentioned, Apple, Microsoft, the Nvidias of the world, AMD is really starting to get going pretty fast here. It's starting to make a bounce, very aggressive this morning in the pre-market. These Tesla, even Tesla,
And
yeah,
the other thing on Disney too is they had leadership change, and wow, SPY is just lighting up and moving higher. they had leadership change, and as strong as their streaming product is, you could actually consider them a benefit of coronavirus if there's
Mm-hmm.
people, quarantined or not quarantined, but things are shut down, schools are shut down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I had to have my kid here watching, kid home from school, and I had to work from home,
Yeah,
buy Disney,
absolutely.
get their
Absolutely.
streaming service and let them take care of himself for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we have work on both ends. Master Chief is giving us that. Also over here on YouTube, work this morning. Work is interesting. Has an interesting daily. Pre-market is starting to get going. Doesn't have great activity just yet, but you can see here it's trying to put in a pop and hopefully test this area here around the 25.70 or so. So this could be interesting. I just don't like the fact that pre-market is a little bit quiet right now. That's the only thing that I'm looking at. But work again also has the potential to get going here. If we didn't have such a crazy list here, I would definitely would have added this to my list this morning. IBIO 9:02 Eastern time, guys. So after this one, we'll go over to announcements. IBIO this morning. This one, wow, 10 million shares traded. What's the float on this? Let me get this little thing over here. Let's check the float. IBIO. So this is 24 million shares flow. So again, just slightly above that low flow area, 24. Anything below 20, you really want to be careful with. But this is a low price stock. I'm not sure why we're trading so many shares this morning. Again, it's very active. Again, just want to be cautious. This is more of a penny stock that has gone above $1 now and has been very active over the last 3 days, right? Here's your Thursday, here's your Friday, here's this morning. Again, just not sure what to think of it now. It's a lot of volume. I don't think this stock trades all that well. So again, I'll just be cautious. I think that we got some other ones here that look a lot better. The volume is incredible, guys. And sometimes when you have this type of volume, it's very difficult to read the price action, especially on these lower price stocks. So just be very careful with that. All right, folks, let's get over to announcements. Then we'll come back and do some support and resistance levels. Let's bring this up right over here.
As you pull that up, I'm just going to say we have unleashed the new website. So it is out there. Hope you guys enjoy it. We know there's some issues. If you see anything specifically, mention it in the off topic, tag Abiel maybe. And we've got a list going to get some stuff fixed on the back end. If you see, I know there's some typos, there's some various little things not working. So thank you for your patience. Over the weekend and patience as we get it perfected. So hope you guys like it. We think it's a great design upgrade. I'll put it that way. Anyway, it's been in the works for a very long time. So we wanted to finally get it out there despite a couple of hiccups on it. Weekly rundown. All right. So Brian, I really hope Brian is doing his swing trade review at 2:30 with current market conditions. It is very, very helpful. Then Carlos has class one onboarding tonight at 8 o'clock this evening. Tuesday, Thursday, Eamon's trade reviews in the classroom at noon. And then success webinar for lifetime members at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. All right. So this week's webinar success webinar is going to be with Kyle, who has created all the advanced hotkeys and is the master of DAS hotkey scripts. So there's a forum post. Maybe will link to it, and you can go there and post questions for him. Also, we're going to have our lifetime webinar for lifetime members, the mentoring stuff that we do on Thursday. It's going to be Andrew and Brian at 8 p.m. Eastern. DAS's challenge starts today. I think you might still be able to sign up. I'll take this off for tomorrow because I know it'll end probably at midnight if not. But you can use the promo code BB15 at onebesttrader.com to get $15 off the registration fee. Also, if you'd like to try out, if you're watching us on YouTube, haven't been in the chat, you'd like to try it, you can do so for a week at a discount. Use the promo code PREMARKET24 when you sign up for that intro membership. Does not auto renew or turn into any other kind of membership. That's what I got.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Norm. Let's take it over here. Okay, perfect. Let's bring back our gappers list just in case. All right, guys. So let's take a quick look at this. Again, we got some good stuff on here. A lot of stuff bouncing back and popping up nicely. KPTI, definitely going to keep an eye on it because this one is again, it has a positive catalyst behind it. It is up 44%. Good volume. It has a good pre-market activity right now, so hopefully that can continue there. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that one. Space is one that's starting to get going here. Looks like it wants to break out nicely out of this pre-market high. So definitely going to keep an eye on Space. This morning. Here is Twitter. Twitter also has got some news behind it as well. Also gapping up 8% this morning. Some great volume, 750. Definitely want to watch this morning. Here is a JD. JD's also got some really good news. I'm gonna keep an eye on this one also. Zoom. Zoom. I'm gonna put down as a possible because it is a great stock. It has been trading very well, but it's a little bit difficult to trade. The spread sometimes is not all that great. And it can really move. It can really be one that you got to really hold on to your seats before taking a trade on there. So I'm going to take that one off, put as a possible down here. I'm going to watch Tesla, guys. Tesla is trading very clean this morning. Some really good volume, up 5%. Again, a lot of these stocks bouncing back. Also, a lot of these stocks that are on here have been trading very well, as you mentioned earlier. With no reason to come back down here just because the SPY dropped so much over the last couple of days, right? So AMD could be a good one that might be trying to get back over to this area 850 950 in the next couple of days, and today could be a good day. If the SPY is going to be strong, a lot of these stocks are going to possibly be trading very well. Now if we look back at Tesla real quick, Tesla has been trading on this 9 daily moving average for a very long time. Only broke it here because of the SPY. But if you look at this, even with this craziness here, it still held this 9, right? So there's some technicals that Tesla is following. Obviously, last week it broke that and it fell apart. But we're bouncing back here. Hopefully can get back to a nice rhythm again on Tesla. Here's AMD. AMD, another stock that also has been very strong. We have some pullbacks here, right? Breaking the 9 to 20, but also has been very strong. Had a beautiful pop over the last couple of days. Dropped because of the SPY and also trading so clean this morning. I want to keep an eye on that. mRNA, I'm going to remove this one, guys, because when I look at AMD, when I look at Tesla, when I look at JD, these companies are actually have a pretty decent daily chart. I want to keep an eye on this one. Even SPCE might be one that we drop off. So I'm going to remove mRNA this morning. I'm going to take that one out. CCL I like because, again, this has been hit pretty hard. Trying to do a bounce back now, trying to get at least to that previous day close line. So we'll take a look at that. Apple is great. Microsoft and NVIDIA. And all these Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA, you don't have to watch all of them. Just pick the one or two that you can actually trade very well, that you like trading, right? That'll be the best way to go about that. So let's do some levels of support. I got still way too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still way too many, guys. Let's see if we can remove some here. You know what we'll do? We'll remove NVIDIA. Let's just remove NVIDIA. I'm gonna just keep a few of these. So we'll keep Microsoft. I like Apple. CCL is good. Between AMD, SPCE, man, they all look great. You know what? Let's just do all of them. They all look great. We'll decide later if something starts looking worse. So let's start with KPTI, guys. Nice little pop here, 45%. High of the pre-market, 24.72. Low of the pre-market, 22.34. So we'll mark that down. Let's go over. If we look down here towards the bottom, below this pre-market low, we do have a level here at 20, right? So we'll mark that down. 20.05, gonna mark that down as a possible daily support if we decide to lose it. Right now, kind of sitting right in the middle of the highs and lows at the moment. So we'll see which way this thing wants to go here. All right, let's go back. Do we have anything above this, or are we sitting at all-time high on KPTI? Let's go back. Nope, we have some levels right over here. So right above this, look at this 24.72, which is your high of your pre-market. Look how well that is playing here, going back to 2015. Even going back this far, this level, obviously a strong level of support here that's now playing resistance in the pre-market. Above that, guys, you can see a very clean level right on here. 27.44 is an amazing level of support and resistance. You have several days where you have some support that then later on becomes resistance as we break down from that. So you want to have that down. 27.44 is a good number above the pre-market highs right now. Now, I'm seeing here, this is a long stretch. 27.44, yes, it is a major support. You can see here, support and resistance. But you need something in between here, because that's a big pop. That's a $3 pop. So let's look at some possible levels in between here. If you see 26.13, I'm going to draw a line also right on here, because I know it's zoomed out quite a bit. If you draw a line right on there, 26.13, you can see several days bouncing off of that as well. That could be a minor support. Your major one is 27.44, but 26.13 is one you want to have on there. That's a big move from 24.72 to 27.44 without making at least one pit stop on the way up there. Towards the bottom, you got plenty, guys. I think you're covered. Let's look at SPCE this morning. This one, it's not an easy stock to trade, but right now it's trading nicely in the pre-market. Let's zoom in here. Looks like it wants to break out of this pre-market high, sitting right at 27.46. We'll mark that down. It's a good level to have either way. You do have some action happening the day before as well on here, so I'm gonna mark that down. Actually, early this morning you have a 27.46 was tested early today. We dropped down nicely and then came right back up. So keep that on the list. Above that, guys, again, this right here is a horrible daily. This is not clean. Very difficult to find good support and resistance when you have this type of daily chart. Well, when you have this here, you can do it. But this here, this is just not clean. So we're going to do the best we can. Last area of somewhat of resistance we have here is 35.55. You can see that on here. Nice gap up. Oh, hits that, comes back down, right? So 34.55 could be a good one. Below here, you do have this one wick here, the kind of possible 36, 30.61. Again, I don't like it as much for a level of support, but we need to have something in here. 30.69 could be a good one right on there. And then out of all of these, obviously you want to have the big pop up here. 42.51. I'm not sure we're going to make it up there today. And then you have this one here. At least you have a nice pop opening and closing on this 38.72. Again, this here, guys, not the best support and resistance levels, not the way you want to find them. But when this is all you have to work with, you got to do the best you can to be able to find an area where you have a lot of targets being hit. So for example, this 34.55, in case you see this in a different stock you're trading, on here you can see several days opening and closing around that area, and some even rejecting, right? So even though you have a nasty daily, you're able to find some areas where some points and price points where they're being hit quite a bit and often. So keep that in mind when you see this type of action. But here's Twitter. Twitter, again, guys, the great pre-market activity. Volume continues to increase. Has a beautiful action this morning. High of the pre-market 37. We'll mark that down. The low of the pre-market sitting at 34.65. I'll mark that down as well. Price action sitting right below a level of support, which I'm going to mark down. 35.60. I'm sorry, right above it. So 35.60. You can see a beautiful bounce here. Also want to mark that down. 35.60. Above that, we have our pre-market high. And then above this, we have a great nice level here of support and resistance. So resistance going back to a couple of weeks on the 7th of February, and then here we have a nice support on these 3 days of that 38.10. Above that clean level here of 39, and obviously this is going to be a huge rejection here of 39.67. You could mark that down as well. I don't think we'll get up there, but right now, if the SPY runs and can give this thing some juice, anything is possible. Towards the bottom of the low of the pre-market, you have plenty of levels, highs and lows the last 2 trading days. Previous day close have you covered. Here's JD, guys, again, still continuing with a beautiful pre-market activity and just some really good volume, up 7.1. We want to keep this on our list. So high of our pre-market sitting at 42.10. Above that, you have a beautiful level of resistance here. Look at that nice level of resistance right at 44, and then the drop. Towards the bottom, we do have, it gets a little choppy here in a couple of days here, not looking all that clean. Your low of the day is pretty much very close to the high from 2 days ago, so I'm not going to mark that down. It's pretty much right on there. But in between your price action now and the low of the day, you do have a couple of days right on here. This 40.71 could be interesting. Not the best level because, again, here was trading very clean, very well, some good levels. And then here it's just kind of gets very choppy, right? Up and down. So there's a lot of choppiness, very difficult to find levels. But this 40.71, you do have several days opening and closing around that area. Some of them rejecting it, some of them bouncing off from it. So definitely worth putting on there. 40.71 to have in your list. So that's plenty of levels for JD, guys. Again, looking good this morning. Great pre-market action so far. Let's head down over to Tesla. Tesla's bouncing back nicely off this previous day close in the pre-market. So Tesla opened up as high as 735, came down to 665, and then slowly kind of did like a double bottom on this 5, and slowly has been making its way up. These are just prints that are being posted here. So again, this one looking good this morning. I'm gonna mark down, guys, here our high of our pre-market 705
Carlos,
right now. Yep.
we're back. Hey, you lost your screen share for a minute. Now Andrew's popping on. There might be some room issues with the room going on.
Oh, gotcha. All right, so this is what we do, guys. I am going to Andrew killed my screen. Andrew, why would you do that? I'm kidding.
Well,
All
I don't know what's going on, but it happened earlier too.
Yeah.
It seems that whenever somebody else shares their screen, it's dropping the
Oh,
other
we can do
person. So
too.
we'll figure it out.
Oh, we'll figure it out. All right, so I'm gonna hop back on. We'll figure this out, guys. We're having some not issues, but some updates were done on Google that has caused some ruckus in our part. So we'll figure it out. We're gonna do some testing today and see what's the best way to get our browsers to work. So Google, just for those that don't know, Google did an upgrade that has caused us to not be able to share screen as effective as we did in the past. So I'm starting to get it going now, but it's frozen. All right. Well, that's
Try sharing your screen again.
yeah, I just did, but it's just kind of giving me the wheel right now.
Oh, okay.
So let me try it again. Guys, bear with me. I'm gonna refresh the room. Just 1 sec.
Figure it out in just a minute.
All right, so I'm doing the sharing now, but it's not a. Okay, here we go. So share screen, screen number 2, and let's rock and roll. All right, perfect. All right, guys. So again, Tesla looks great here. Pre-market high, struggling with that a little bit. Been up here a couple of times. 705 is your pre-market high. So let's mark that down. Almost made it there a couple of minutes ago. We're back at it again. Really trying to break out of that. It looks like it wants to do that in a couple of minutes here. Above that, the high from the last 2 trading days got you covered. And then here, guys, although you have this nasty daily chart, there is a level right on here. That's a good one. A14, right? So A14, you can see several days using that as resistance. Even towards the bottom, this is a minor level. Again, this is not the best daily chart. Kind of like what we spoke about on Twitter. I'm sorry, was it Twitter or JD? It was JD, right? Didn't have the best chart. We did the best we could there. But Tesla, this 775, you do have an area here of some support and resistance here. So you want to mark that down. So I think there's some good other levels for Tesla here. It looks very strong. Great pre-market activity worth having on our list. Here's AMD, guys. So AMD, I'm going to mark down the high of the pre-market. Has a beautiful pre-market activity this morning, like a lot of these stocks do that are bouncing back today. Another level here is 49.25, and then another one here, 51.27. Are 3 good levels you want to have above your price action now. Below that, you have the previous day close, the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Have you covered. Here is CCL this morning, guys. So CCL stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, trying to make it back to the previous day close. As a lot of these other stocks are green, CCL is the only one that's still red and trying to make this bounce back. So high of our pre-market 33.17. We'll mark that down. 33.17 is a little bit up here. Here we go, 33.17. So let's see if we can get back up there. Highs and lows of the last 2 trading days between the price action now. The next level we have is 35.86. We'll mark that over here as well. So again, CCL is interesting, guys, because I think it's trying to get going here. Here's Apple. Apple at the moment also has a great bounce back, guys. So again, doing nice here. You're stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. If it can break out of that, we can get something going. So I'm going to mark down 297 on Apple. Really is the best level we have here if it can break out of that. We do have a midpoint at 292.94. So we'll mark that down as well. Here is Microsoft, very similar to Apple, to NVIDIA, to AMD. All these stocks are bouncing back now. The SPY is doing well, so these stocks are trying to recover with it as well. And Microsoft is stuck between the highs and, not stuck, but it does have the highs and lows between it, plus the previous day close. Towards the top, guys, you really want to mark down 173. It's a great area, and you also have this other one here at 177.49. Guys, so I think we have an amazing list. I have about 8 or 9 here. I'm not going to watch so many. I'm going to bring this down to about 6, but we do have KPTI, SPCE, Twitter, JD, Tesla, AMD, CCL, Apple, and
Carlos,
Microsoft this morning.
Can you share your screen one more time?
Yep, sure.
Can you share your screen one more time?
Yep. Let's try here. Sharing screen number 2. There we go.
Yeah, I can't.
It's just it's up for me, but it's just a frozen screen.
Yeah, I see.
So, Carlos, what about this? You kill your screen. Let me share my screen and see.
Yeah.
You kill your screen.
Yeah, I'll kill my screen.
Yeah, let me actually share that. I do apologize for that.
All right, guys. Folks on YouTube, we are going to log off. So we basically, you guys didn't have no issues. The issue is in our chat room. So, you know, we'll figure out what's going on there. But thank you guys for joining the pre-market show. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, we have a great list, guys. So be on the lookout for some of these moves. Again, the SPY's doing well. So things are bouncing back nicely. It's very strong. It's red to green now. red to green move. So again, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a good day for the long to the SPY can continue to hold this. And like Norm mentioned earlier, look out for these companies that have been doing pretty good over the last couple of days and are now bouncing back with the SPY. Okay, take care, guys. Stay safe, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 8:30 Eastern time.